Welcome to episode 139 of the Feel Better, Feel Great podcast. I am Dr. Andrea McSwain, and today's episode is on acute oxidative stress and the mitochondria. I want to take a quick moment before we dive into today's episode to share something I've been working on that I'm really excited about. Over the last several months, I've been thinking about how to connect with you more deeply and offer more value to help you on your health journey. That's why I'm thrilled to announce the upcoming start of the Feel Better, Feel Great Functional Wellness Membership. This membership will be a space where we can dive deeper into all aspects of your health, whether it's improving your sleep, boosting digestion, or learning what your body truly needs to thrive. One of the most exciting parts will be our live sessions called Ask Dr. Andrea, where you can hop on, share your medical questions, and get quick, actionable advice from me to help you with your health concerns. It's a chance for us to connect directly and for me to offer practical tips and education that you can start using right away to feel better. I do want to remind you that when we do these live sessions and we have this education materials in the membership, that they are educational only. Okay, so if you've been looking for more support and practical ways to take your health to the next level, stay tuned. More details are coming soon. I'm so excited to share the next chapter with you, and I'm truly grateful to have you all on this journey with me. Thank you.
Today's episode is sponsored by Vitality Health RX Supplements. Whether you're an athlete, a busy professional, or just someone looking to prioritize health, Vitality Health RX has what you need. With premium ingredients and rigorous quality control, their supplements support your body's natural functions. Visit shopvrx.com and use code FEELGREAT15 for 15% off your first order. Thanks to Vitality Health RX for sponsoring this episode. Now let's dive in.
Okay, let's get going. In today's episode on acute oxidative stress and mitochondria, we have a lot to talk about. There's definitely some science involved. There's definitely some complicated topics potentially, and they might even sound controversial, but don't worry. I'm breaking them down to address some common questions and concerns along the way. I have been working on treating people for oxidative stress that is both chronic, right? And then actually how to use acute oxidative stress therapeutically to support the mitochondria. So mitochondria well-being is very important in my practice. I'm going to break all this down. What is oxidative stress? Okay, this is the basics. Okay, we hear a lot about this term in wellness spaces, but what does it really mean? It occurs when there's an imbalance between free radicals and our body's ability to neutralize them with antioxidants. Oxidative stress occurs when there's an imbalance between free radicals and our body's ability to neutralize them with antioxidants. Okay, I might have lost you there, so I'm just going to take that back a second. So basically, we understand that molecules are always changing, right? Sometimes they're paired, sometimes they're single, and when they're single, sometimes these single molecules can have a different ionic charge, making them negative, sometimes positive. Anyway, what can happen there is they are looking for binding, and when that doesn't happen, they can create free radicals, which are damaging. So free radicals basically means damage. And the way the body heals that is by neutralizing them or basically applying an antioxidant, right? So you have this free radical that can cause injury, and then you have your body's ability to heal it with an antioxidant, or that's how you repair it. Okay, so acute oxidative stress is a temporary burst of this process. Interestingly, this short burst can be beneficial for mitochondrial health. And I think one of the best ways to explain this in terms of mitochondrial health is the idea of a this cold plunges, right? So you can introduce cold plunges in a lot of ways. I've discussed this before. The mitochondria can have a little bit of coolness and then the body can respond by getting warm. I don't recommend people who are ill or struggling with disease start doing extremely cold plunges, but I do recommend that cooling the water in your shower onto your abdomen and your armpits for a short amount of time, maybe 20 to 60 seconds, can really help your mitochondria get a little bit of a stress, and then your body starts responding, actually getting stronger. Okay, so isn't oxidative stress always bad for you? And a lot of people hear oxidative stress and think it's bad. Well, chronic oxidative stress can be harmful. Acute short-term oxidative stress, like the kind you get from exercise or different therapies like ozone, actually help the body build resilience. So think of it like working out your muscles. Some stress is necessary to make them stronger, and the same concept applies to your cells. Just like temperature regulation can be a little bit stressful, but it actually makes you stronger when you're able to regulate your own temperature. I want to give you an example, and this actually deals with Ron Webb. He is the formulator and a part of KPS Essentials. He came into my office a few years ago, and he had done some experimenting. He had a second-degree gasoline burn on the front of his shin, or on his shin. And it was very concerning because burns are a severe oxidative process. And Ron and I decided, along with Natalie Novak, the founder of KPS, that we would apply Superfood Elixir and then wrap his leg in a bag and fill it with ozone so that we could work on the healing process. And what happened was remarkable. Ron had 2 episodes where we put his leg in a bag, plastic bag, and filled it with ozone gas for about 15 minutes. And in 10 days, his leg went from a second-degree gasoline burn to light pink. Now, that is very impressive if you know anything about burns. If you've burned your hand from the oven, you realize this can take days or weeks to repair. But when the entire shin has been burnt, that's severe risk for infection and delayed healing, significant delayed healing. So we're very, very happy that we could get this rapid recovery for Ron. So what is the mitochondria, right? So I want to kind of fix that into our discussion now. So we know that the mitochondria are powerhouses of our cells. They're tiny little engines that power every cell in the body. They generate something called ATP. Now, this is short for a long name, and yes, we could talk about it, but the point is it's equivalent to the currency of energy. So ATP is energy, and it's the energy your body needs to function. Here's where it gets really interesting. Brief periods of oxidative stress can actually help strengthen the mitochondria. This process is like giving your mitochondria a little tune-up so they can work more efficiently in the long run. And can oxidative stress be harmful to mitochondria? Again, chronic oxidative stress, much like rusting, can definitely be harmful because it keeps a lot of free radicals in your system. So it keeps a lot of stress and it starts to accumulate. But acute stresses, when properly controlled and managed, can actually stimulate your mitochondria to become more efficient. It's about balance. And that's very important to remember because you can overstress the body, but there are a lot of therapies like ozone that aim to achieve the balance. I want to talk about ozone. Many of you have never even heard of what this is, and I've sprinkled it in a little bit in this conversation, but now I'm going to talk more directly about it. So ozone therapy is becoming a very popular tool in holistic and integrative medicine. But did you know that it started over 100 years ago? I'm going to talk about some of the research and clinical applications that have been going on since the turn of the last century. Okay, so what is it? Okay, again, what is ozone? Ozone is a gas made up of 3 oxygen atoms. So it's paired together in 3 atoms. When used in therapy, it helps to stimulate the immune system, improve circulation, and promote healing. But a lot of people think that it's toxic because we think about it can't be inhaled. Okay. However, that is the inhalation argument, in my opinion, is really kind of like rudimentary, because you can't inhale a lot of things, and you definitely can't put a lot of things into your lungs. So that ozone is bad because it can't be put into your lungs is not a rational thought. Okay. Ozone is very supportive. We have the ozone membrane for our earth as a protective layer. I'm not going to get into that right now, but I'm just going to say, please keep an open mind. A lot of people will shut down ozone because they hear it's not good for their lungs. But most things aren't good for your lungs except for air, right? And you could say concentrated oxygen, which is O2. When we use ozone in medical communities, we do it in a lot of different ways. It can be done in several different ways that help promote healing without causing damage. It's been used, like I said, for over a century, and there is growing research supporting its effectiveness. I will say, too, it's a very inexpensive therapeutic. There are many ways to get it, and it is so incredibly important as a root cause treatment. You know, when we often talk about root cause analysis or getting to the root cause, sometimes in my practice, I just apply root cause therapies, which means we don't have to know all the answers. And yes, I love doing diagnostics. I love being a diagnostician and finding the answers. Sometimes, though, I like applying something that's going to work for people, and that is definitely ozone. And I was impressed after Ron Webb and Natalie Novak and I did these 2 episodes of limb bagging on Ron's shin, and dramatically improved the healing process so that he could have that diminished risk of infection. So we clearly saw in a burn situation that adding an acute oxidative stress like limb bagging or ozone bagging around the area created an opportunity to stimulate healing, and it was profound. Then KPS Essentials started actually ozonating their aromatherapy cleansing oil, and that's remarkable. So the oil already was impressive, right? Aromatherapy, very high quality argan oil, effective results. But when we added ozone to this product, I always feel part of their team. What happened is it allowed then for the oil to create a micro stress in the skin, and also the penetration effect of the ozone to go into the skin and stay there longer. And that has been very impressive for our patients with acne or with aging skin. And I'll give you my personal story a little bit later. What is the research on ozone therapy? Again, over 100 years of use. I was very unfamiliar with ozone therapy till about 5 years ago. And it came into my life, and it's made a world of difference for thousands of patients in our clinic. It is still considered alternative because honestly, it is a medical device that you use. It's a ozone generator, but it's not much more than that. And for a lot of people, they buy a machine one time. They need an oxygen tank, so that has to be refilled. And then they have different devices that can be added to it, like Foley catheters and limb bagging and syringes and such. So those are disposable items that need to be repurchased. However, this is a very inexpensive therapeutic, and it does very well. So that's another reason why it's not heavily researched, is it's not a large profit margin whatsoever. There is no one that's going to get rich on ozone. The only people that are going to save a lot of money are patients who use it. So I want to tell you that I was shocked actually to learn that in World War I, ozone therapy was used to reduce wounds. And we've had a situation of a patient who has diabetes type 2 who was in the bath and actually had a large portion of her heel slough off. We were able to use ozone therapy and osteopathic manipulation and KPS essential products to create a profoundly healing situation for that ulcer. We could see the bone, and although I did request that the patient take antibiotics for this area, the patient declined, which was her decision and her right, and I respected that. I also gave her fever and infection precautions to go to the emergency room if they occurred. However, they did not. And we were able to accelerate the healing process remarkably in a diabetic foot ulcer. That is the power of ozone. That is a clinical example in my practice. But in 2020, there was a study that showed how ozone therapy helps reduce inflammation and improves oxygen use in the body. There are several experts in ozone therapy. There's Dr. Rowan and there's Dr. Schallenberger. They are both pioneers in ozone therapy. They emphasize the use in treating chronic infections, autoimmune diseases, and even in sports medicine for the ability to enhance recovery. Because ozone loves to come in and add oxygen and permeate the area because it's a gas. So it's fantastic. Do you think there's enough scientific evidence to support ozone therapy? People ask me that. And I do, again, reiterate that a lot of large-scale studies are often based on funding for millions and millions of dollars to then be able to promote a product that is going to be substantially more expensive than this product. And so there's not going to be a lot of large trials, but there are a lot of benefits of ozone therapy in smaller trials. And there's a lot of doctors like me who are using it in the practice regularly and in many different ways to get people stronger, to improve their immune systems, to reduce inflammation, to improve oxygen delivery, really to address a lot of infections and a lot of inflammation. So very significant in my practice. And it's important that I present this to you because I'm a qualified provider offering ozone therapeutics in my clinic now for multiple years. And most days we offer it virtually every day in our office so that we can have our patients receive the therapies. So what are the long-term benefits of ozone therapy? When we introduce acute oxidative stress, your mitochondria get stronger and more efficient at producing energy. Your immune system learns how to respond better to threats, becoming more adaptable. Your circulation improves, which means tissues get more oxygen and nutrients, helping you feel more vitalized and energized. But remember, there is a difference between acute stress, right? Again, think about exercise, think about cold plunges or cool plunges, and put ozone therapy in that category. It is a short burst of stress that your body trains itself to adapt to. So acute oxidative stress is a short burst of stress that trains your body to adapt. And over time, this can enhance resilience rather than breaking down the body. And we all know the power of adaptability. In fact, it's a core concept for Darwin. So what is my own personal experience with ozone? There's many, but I will tell you I'm a dedicated user of ozonated aromatherapy cleansing oil. My skin is very red, ruddy, Scottish, and I would always burn no matter what, no matter how long I've been exposed to the sun, short, long term, blah, 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 blah. No matter where I lived. I live in Michigan. I used to live in Phoenix. Obviously, Phoenix is a lot more severe, but definitely in Michigan, there's been a lot of sun. It can get very warm in the summers and have a lot of sun exposure. But when I use ozonated aromatherapy cleansing oil, I do not have red and inflamed skin. I use ozonated aromatherapy cleansing oil, or OACO, to allow my skin to get a lot more capable of appreciating the sun and allowing the sun to come in without creating redness and inflammation. It has made a marked improvement in how moist my skin stays, how healthy it stays, and how resilient it stays. So those are some examples from my own experience. I have definitely many more experiences with oxidative stress and applying it through ozone therapies. but I wanted you to hear some of those things. I would love your feedback. I would love your questions. Ozone therapy does offer a safe, controlled way to introduce these short bursts of stress to trigger the healing response. And that's activating our inherent ability to heal. If you're looking for the long-term benefits of increased energy, immune resilience, and a greater capacity for healing, then I encourage you to learn more about ozone therapy. Thank you for joining me today on Feel Better, Feel Great podcast. Of course, I am delighted that so many of you have been watching and we're really growing. Please share this to others. And again, leave comments, likes, questions, whatever you want. We're ready to hear it and learn from you too. Thank you.